Hello there. I hope you're all doing well. I guess I just wanted to whip up another Operation Avalanche video where I basically just go through my Facebook timeline or whatever and talk about whatever. Things that come to my mind or things that I've been posting about on the YouTubes, albeit my numbers are so censored and whatnot, my original page and all that. A guy can't help but wonder what his actual numbers would be. I mean, even like on BitChute, thankful for BitChute, but I want to remind people to watch this video at 1080p. If you're not on YouTube, Odyssey might do the trick. I'm not too sure how Rumble completely works, but 1080p is what I upload at all the time, like this video here, warning people, because sometimes I noticed I'll go to someone else's computer, someone else's house, and just Google my page, see how hard it is to find my page, how many page results it's buried under, shadow banning, whatever they do, the algorithm. And a lot of times I'll click a video on someone else's computer, and even if it should be set to play at 1080p or 720 on their computer, sometimes my videos will just come up at 320, and I don't know if that's a common tactic they do, just to make it look crummy, so maybe people will just turn it off. However, that being said, I don't know, making videos is kind of therapeutic for me. I just keep doing it, on and on it goes, whenever I feel called to do something or make something. Lately, I don't know, even since my sister was killed, poisoned, whatever happened to her, I've been dealing with all that grief by just staying busy with games, and I have to say I'm thankful for it. Albeit, I was inspired by the Way Biblical Fellowship a while back to quit playing like the gory games, the violent, super gory games, rated R type stuff. So now I'll just play games that are like PG, as they call it, where it's like not like violent, rated R. And a game like Fallout even was the breaking point for me. I remember thinking, how violent it was, albeit mechanically speaking, a great game, a fun game. Like, there's a town building mini game in the game that is still fun to play. You don't have to be doing any violent, crazy stuff. But yeah, as I says, I use video games just to sort of cope with stuff, whatever. Especially if you're living like Obi-Wan Kenobi in the wilderness like me, alone, nothing better to do, right? If I'm just bored and thankful for it, games and whatnot. And so yeah, the one I'm playing now, basically the Final Fantasies, and I just got this Final Fantasy 7 remake, and yeah, it's stupid fun. I mean, it's kind of funny because my computer's not so great for playing vids. I guess it's meant to be like a work computer for like editing video like I'm doing now. And so the graphics on it, when I play it, are just crap. The textures are crap. I don't even know if they're 1K, much less 4K. I'll show a clip here of it in a second. It's kind of funny just to think of it. Like, I'm glad it plays. I'm thankful that it plays, Otherwise, I'd have nothing to do at all. But at the same time, it's like, looking at the graphics, some of the elitist types would probably just rag on me for it, but I don't really care. At least I get to play the game. And so yeah, like checking out my game here where I'm at, I'm in this giant circular city sectioned off like pizza slices. Each pizza slice is like the size of Manhattan, and we're up in one of them, essentially in the roof struts, where the upper cities for the elite, they get the sunshine, and the undercity gets the slums and the crap and the poison and the pollution. And so in the game, essentially, and this is a 30, almost 40-year-old game, where in the timeline of this fictional universe, Final Fantasy VII, they're kind of where we're at now, the energy sector crisis and everything. And in the game, the main characters are technically eco-terrorists, I guess. Well, the main character is a mercenary for hire who gets caught up in the adventures of this dude named Barrett and his childhood friend Tifa, this Avalanche crew. But yeah, essentially like eco-terrorists. However, my graphics, whatever, hilarious. If I were to just switch it over here, I found this clip online. This is what it should look like. Just so you knowin' the kind of limitations a poor dude like me has to deal with. A long time ago I realized I'd have to just live on the generosity of others and whatnot in that regards. Work when I can, but with my PTSD insomnia, it's so impossible to keep a schedule. Sleep when I can and fill my time with games and positive activities while I'm awake. And so yeah, games like this help. That's what I've been doing lately. But anyway, that being said, back to my timeline here. I guess I just was thinking, I felt I hadn't made one of these in a while. And looking back, actually, I think I've made like 40 or 50 of them. If I were to go back, if I had all of them on my hard drives, and I'm missing some of my really old stuff, my original videos where actually I was just acting like a savage to think about it. But in my older videos, a lot of them, they started out as chemtrail videos like this. What is this? What shape is that? What is that? Those are normal flight paths? But yeah, looking back at my older videos, you know, all on my hard drives, wondering, you know, how many of these I've actually made. It was inspired by the movie Operation Avalanche about the faking of the moon landing. And obviously, I mean, the picture, the whatever, the thumbnail is sort of their picture. But that being said, I guess originally maybe then it was sort of inspired by how the Illuminati types, whatever you want to call them, to sort of, you know, expose stuff like chemtrails and Illuminati types like my grandpa, who made it up to this level at least this level, the Supreme Council of Grand Sovereign Inquisitor Generals, Major General up there, I don't know, whatever. So yeah, making videos aside, all the other topics I ended up getting into over the years, I was just having a bit of a discussion with some people on and the idea of, on a geocentric pod Earth, flat Earth map, the northern kingdoms look a bit different. And I just thought it's just something interesting to think about. Or the idea that, you know, on a flat Earth map, the second great exodus, it won't be through no Atlantic Ocean, it'll be through the Arctic Ocean, right through Mount Meru. Or even like Mount Meru, this map here, to show you this picture on the screen. Like, what is at the North Pole? We're not really allowed to go there, or magnetic center, as I would call it, or how most geocentrists, flat earthers would call it. And then all points leading outward would register as south on a compass. But yeah, the northern kingdoms look a lot different on an FE map. And then I was also thinking about this the other day. If you'll notice some predictive programming in this ancient old movie, Falling Down, with Michael Douglas, you know, it's not weird or anything that this novelty street sign in the store in this one scene says the corner of Corona and Corona. I thought that was pretty weird, eh? And then I thought, how often do people really notice this predictive programming? I remember when I pointed out the all-seeing eye thing, celebrities covering one eye. When I pointed that out to my sister, a couple weeks later, she was saying that she was out buying groceries or just normal everyday stuff, and now she can't unsee it and it's everywhere, which brought us to think, or brought us to discuss once upon a time, you know, how can people not see this? It just drives me to drink. And so, like, this is the look on my face pretty much most of the time I have to go out and deal with somebody. Even though this post apparently is about gasoline, for some reason the price of gas, the Facebook algorithm gets its knickers in a bunch, lost its collective little mind, and just fact-checked the hell out of this post. I don't know why, but whatever. I've never even owned a car, so my carbon footprint is almost zero. Whatever. You know, obviously it can't be less than zero, but... Or even like this, prayers go out to Chicago or any city where they had their right to open carry or even have guns taken away. The less gun rights you have, the more crime you have. And so yeah, I was watching this Paul Joseph Watson video, regardless what you want to say about him. I mean, anybody in that whole InfoWars crew. even a broken clock is right twice a day. But yeah, what's going on in Chicago is just insane. Helter-skelter kind of race war shit going on, almost like they're brewing it on purpose. Bit of trivia here. The song Helter Skelter by the Beatles, I don't know if you guys know this, but it was written by Charlie Manson. Apparently Charlie Manson and John Lennon were pals for a while. I wonder what those two humps would think of gun rights today in this day and age. Although I'm pretty sure they were both insane. Although one violently insane and the other one just socio-economically. But yeah, all that aside, onwards and upwards. I saw this meme, I thought it was pretty funny. All the people who are claiming to be prophets or whatever. Beware anyone who says they're in the secret chambers, or, you know, or even the whole idea of them rebuilding the third temple. I don't even know what to really make of all that. The image of the beast, AI, how that'll play into it. But yeah, there's lots of people out there claiming to be prophets or apostles or even fallen angels. Been attacked by a few cults. Had to block a lot of crazy people. Pray for crazy people. No one wants to be crazy, but I don't think they realize they're being crazy. And that's why, you know, with trolls online, I just take a step back. I'd rather go play my game than, you know, deal with fighting with people, with the faceless people online that may or may not even be artificial intelligence. Or even this. I made this video a couple weeks back or whatever. I still, to this day, I'll be outside talking to people, and somebody, some blue-haired alphabet person, or some poor brainwashed sod who's just had too much television, you know, pumping that alpha signal right into their brain, and the idea that they'll immediately or almost always blame capitalism for the world today, and it's like, capitalism was like the first victim of this war. Everything wrong with the world today is basically begins and ends with the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 and then Nixon taking us off the gold standard. So now we have this crazy world. But I mean, everything that's happening is predicted in the Bible. Say what you want about the Bible. People out there don't want to believe whatever. They don't want to believe it could be true. But all this stuff has been predicted and prophesized. And, you know, the world just keeps getting more lustful and malevolent and violent, where it's like basically I'm going back and just watching shows from the 80s. Where did all the heroes go? Or even that, like that being said, I was rewatching these Star Trek Picards, you know, and season 1 and 2 was absolute garbage, just propaganda, alphabet propaganda. But season 3 was like proper Star Trek, you know? And like, where have all the heroes gone? Nowadays it's all anti-heroes and murderous television. Back in the day it was, you know, about camaraderie and loyalty and honor and about justice and heroes, you know? Not like the way it's been since really The Sopranos. That's after that the tone changed completely. But yeah, I went back and watched this. I thought it was awesome, season 3 at least. You know, I remember even joking with, or even about how Rob Skiba single-handedly ruined science fiction for me with the Flat Earth movement. But yeah, Star Trek Picard was pretty awesome. Or even just mentioning the Flat Earth movement. This meme makes me think of how mad I get when people want to just attack you over this topic rather than just look at it. And I gotta laugh because all the wasted energy nowadays, I'm not even going to spend an ounce of energy arguing with people about something if all they want to do is argue in endless circles. And so, yeah, you know, there's crazy things going on right now. And arguing about flat earth is literally the least of our worries. But even how TV has mesmerized people completely. It gives me the idea to play this one clip again from the old TV show Oz. Very rated R, very disgusting show about prison life. But there's one clip with an Italian mobster. He basically breaks down how TV, the image of the beast, how they've completely hypnotized the world to the point where now it's a one-way conversation with God, where someone like me comes along, and of course the first thing most people do is just go back to the programming and scream, conspiracy theorist, conspiracy theorist. How dare you go against the system? But yet, I mean, it seems strange to me that some of the most antisocial people out there are the biggest free thinkers as far as seeing through the nonsense. But then again, at the end of the day, the Holy Spirit, Yahweh, God the Father in heaven, Yahshua Jesus Christ, is the only one who's going to send us any of that kind of positive Holy Spirit motivation. Nothing negative can come from God. So when I think of people not being able to see this, it's definitely not about intelligence. It's about something else, something a little more animalistic. And yeah, like this clip goes here.
One day in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell uttered through a wire, "Watson, come here, I want you." 130 years later, we're talking through satellites.
Strange, huh? That before hanging up, we say, keep in touch, when there's never any touch involved. No contact. Just cables and frequencies.
Still, to get an "I love you" call in the middle of a shitty day, that makes a cell phone seem miraculous.
Midway through the 20th century, man wants communication without communication. He wants to sit in his living room and watch people in a box fall in love, work, sing, golf, cry, and f*** up. Television. A one-way conversation between you and the world, where the world does the talking. Like God, man can finally create man in his own image, and then kick back and watch all sorts of shit hit the fan.
Back in the 60s, the Department of Defense created the internet.
Little did they know they were mixing concrete to build the global village.
There's nothing concrete about it, though. People get digital mail from electronic boxes. They congregate in chat rooms that have no walls and no doors.
Millions around the world have instant access to each other and stores and food and entertainment. But if it's such a revolution in communications, why do studies show the more time one spends online, the more isolation one suffers? When man goes collectively mad from downloading all the mental messages in the air, when there's no trees left, because we needed all that paper for the printing press, and therefore are left with no oxygen to breathe, then satellites will fry from overuse and drop from the sky. And we'll make desperate cell phone calls to our loved ones while watching Mother Earth's last days on reality TV. Communications will be once again what it was in the beginning.
The Word, moving over the face of the deep, over the face of God, who now, instead of wanting to talk, is tired of listening.
But yeah, I've played that clip before, and maybe I'll even play it again. I don't know. It's just a great clip because it sums it up so succinctly. It's like a one-way conversation with God. And so even, yeah, like making this video here, I noticed we're getting past the 20-minute mark. And I just thought, you know, whatever. The reason I make these videos, after finding out what I did, after Dad got clipped and all that, I felt like I had to, or else I'd be sitting on my hands. And that, you know, broke as I am, with all my hand-me-down technology, barely able to even play that game I was showing you clips from. But if a guy like me is poor as dirt, kicked to the curb, can do this, anybody can do this. All you need is a little bit of access, some hand-me-downs, and the internet. And yeah, as I was going on about before, this all started with me wanting to film video about chemtrails, make video about chemtrails. But at the end of the day, if my videos make even one person's day slightly better, then, you know, well, mission accomplished. So yeah, I guess that's all I got to say about that. Another Operation Avalanche in the bag. And peace out, baby.